Hi. Hello. It's been a minute. At least it's been a minute for garden content. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I got deepish, like ankle deep in the man versus bear debate. Maybe knee deep. I don't know. But what I want to do today is a garden tour. I did post, nope, I filmed one some time ago. And it was an hour, and I chickened out and didn't post it. And then I ran out of room on my cell phone, so it got deleted because I've got other things to do with the room on my cell phone. Plus it was outdated, plus all the excuses. So let's go ahead and walk through the garden. I will talk to you as we walk. The goal is to make this no more than 10 minutes. The last one I filmed was an hour, and that was crazy. So, you can kind of see what's going on behind me, but I will start at the beginning of the garden, and we'll walk all the way through so I can show you what's growing. Okay? Okay. All right, we're going to start by my forever locked gate, as if we are walking into my yard. And when you walk into my yard, all you see is this. Hold on, let me pan you out a little bit. This is what you see, which I absolutely love because it just gives, I don't know what it gives, but it gives. But when you look to your right, and if you were walking in my yard, I would show you this immediately, which is these 3 pepper plants. I have a naked spot there, which I don't know what I'm doing about, but first thing we see is these 3 pepper plants. I don't know what plant of peppers they are, but they are producing, which makes me so unbelievably happy. I think they might be banana peppers, but we don't know. And then when we turn, we have our okra bed. Okay, so the backs of these beds are kind of my plants that I plan to neglect, compared to the front, which are the tomatoes, which we all know tomatoes get all the love. But back of this bed is a field of okra, and then on the very end there is going to be my watermelons. I put them in the ground. I didn't think they'd take, and they're going places, and I don't know what to do about that, so I'm just gonna let it happen. Over here is very much another I'm just gonna let it happen situation with my tomatillos, because they are spilling out onto the walkway. And then we get into the tomato trellises. So I'm so glad, so thankful this year. Well, I do have shriveling happening, which this is something I'm going to have to research and figure out how to combat next year. But I'm really grateful for the tiny successes this year. And the tiny successes this year is actually having freaking tomatoes growing. You haven't been with me on these tours in past years, but I have gone a few years without having any tomatoes. Like, I got some from a plant, and then that was it. So the fact that I actually have really good sized tomatoes growing just makes me so flippin' happy. Now, are all the plants producing tomatoes? No, but I do treat tomatoes like a numbers game, which is kind of silly, but I do. We have these, I've harvested a lot from this tomato plant, but I do treat tomatoes like a numbers game. The more plants I plant, the more likely I am to even get tomatoes. I hope I'm not making you sick. So I do see the spots on that. I'm going to pull that leaf because I don't know what kind of what that is, but we don't want it. Up front, you have my very sad looking pepper plants. They need to be watered. So yeah, we have more peppers, more tomatoes. And then this beauty. These are snapdragons. I started these from seed. I love that they're pink because the ones I bought from the store were yellow. And then this is cinnamon basil. I am so excited for it to go to flower. That way the bees have something. Because if you notice, if you listen, there's not a lot of bee activity in my yard, which is unusual for my yard, honestly. Back here, we have our corn, and if you look, you can see the silks of my first corn. I don't know how successful this will be. I've never succeeded at corn. So what I think I'm going to do immediately is plant another crop of corn in between these. That way I can at least have a second shot at success. We have a few pepper plants right here, as well as this big old squash, which I'm trying to keep sprayed down with all form of everything to keep the vine borers off of it. For me and squash, we just have a bad relationship, y'all. I've never successfully produced squash. I've also never successfully produced corn, nor have I successfully produced watermelon. So we'll see what happens there. All right, getting back into it. We have a few more peppers. I don't know what I bought. I started buying things at some point. And then we have my entire bed of eggplant that needs to get water because I'm looking at that soil and she looks dry. But you can see we have some flowers. This is my Rosa Bianca. She got some flowers going on her. And then my Asian heirloom eggplant over here has a few more eggplants hanging off of it. Okay, can we talk about the sign real quick? My neighbor bought me this sign and I just love it. I've started calling myself, I jokingly called myself a garden witch to her once, because I called myself a garden witch once because I look at my yard and I'm like, there's no way I should be able to produce anything in this yard. There's just not a way, so I must be magical. I must be a garden witch. So she found a sign that said that and gave it to me for my birthday. So if you're watching, Olivia, thank you. Thank you very much. Though I doubt you're watching because you have a thing against TikTok going right now, which is understandable. Anyway, getting back into these grapes. All right, so I've already started looking up. I'm so unbelievably excited about these grapes. I know that I'm gonna have to do something to cover them in some way because the birds have already started making home in my yard. But look at these bunches of grapes. Aren't they beautiful? And they're just tucked in there everywhere. So I'm thinking it's gonna be grape jelly for me, which I'm so excited about because I love grape jelly. We have our zinnias here. Then over here we have my very ungrateful gladiolas who are here for a second year and have not produced a single flower. Isn't that great? Love that. This is just snapdragons and lemon balm and catnip. That's all this is. These are the popover poppies that we sowed really late. You can see they're languishing. They never came to a head. They never did anything. And that's because I need to sow those in the winter. That is a human error thing. I should have done better. Whatever. I think this is a seed pod. Oh, it is. It's a little seed pod for the snapdragons. We have another pepper plant. This is a rock rose my neighbor gave me for my birthday. These are God knows what. I bought them because they were pretty. And back in the back, you can see we have a cluster of, they should be cucumbers, but I think there are other things too. We have a cucumber starting to climb over here. And then we have borage behind it. Of course, asparagus in the back. That is a celosia. Then we have a languishing pepper plant that seems like it's actually starting to try to do better, but this guy has been sickly since it got here. Planted with a good amount of basil. This turned out, by the way, to be a melon plant, and I thought it was a cucumber this whole time. Ground cherries, producing every day. More ground cherries. And yet another pepper. I might go through and just count out how many plants we have back here. This is my big ferning gorgeous asparagus next to my passion fruit plant. As you know, we have the tree side, which my cherries are a little upset because it's a little hot. I'll water them later. So this apple tree actually did flower, which is the first year it's flowered. It's got salvia at the bottom. These apple trees are alive in the rootstock, but I don't think it was a good graft on either of them. So this one's being used as a bean pole this season. We got some pole beans going up. We have my figs, and then you know my loquat, you know her, my apple tree, my rootstock. Let me not say it's a blood orange anymore because somebody had to point it out that one time. My blood orange, and then my 2 cherries. Then in front of me we have papaya and guava that got moved from that side to this side just because they make more sense on this side. Anyway, so yeah, that is the whole garden. That is everything we've done the last few months. All in all, in case you were wondering, my garden is home to 22 tomato plants. Last I checked, I think there are 15 pepper plants, 2 squash, a whole bunch of basil, and then so many other plants, it's not even funny. So this is just your reminder that if you have a small space, that doesn't mean you can't grow big. I mean, this is big for me. I don't know if it's big for you. And if you think that you have a black thumb, you just have to plant more seeds than you can kill. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on this garden walkthrough. I'll get this put up today, and let me know what you're doing in your own garden, okay? I'll talk to you the next one. Bye, guys.